Okay, so I've stated in my other videos I was really busy this weekend and I didn't get time to do another one of my top 25s. Not too late. This is the third part of it, 15 through 11. Let's just jump right into it. Number 15 is This Is 40. This was actually one of my first reviews that I did, and I really did. I love This Is 40. If you guys want to check out my review, I rave about it. I think Apatow is just the standard for comedy working today. I think that man is just a genius producer, a great writer, a great director, and he just has so much talent that works with him and that he's found and established. I really like Judd Apatow, and This Is 40 is just one of those examples on why I like him. In This Is 40, he does everything that I liked about his last film, Funny People, and he just tweaks it a little. Like the thing I liked everything about Funny People. It had charm, it had great comedy, it had a great story. But the one thing that it didn't have a fantastic ending. It kind of sizzled down at the end. And this one, I think it had the best part of it was the final couple minutes. I can't praise This Is 40 enough. Number 15. Number 14. What is it? Searching for Sugar Man. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am from the suburbs of Detroit. I attend school in Detroit. And if you've seen This Is Sugar Man, or Searching for Sugar Man, I just fucked that up. I said This Is 40 and Sugar Man. But if you've seen Searching for Sugar Man, you know it kind of takes place in Detroit, and it's the guy was from here. So I've been hearing about this movie for the last 6 months. My dad wanted to watch it, so me and him checked it out. I think it's fantastic. Honestly, I wanted to just have this movie at number 2 of the year. But because it was a documentary, I just couldn't put it over all my narrative films because I probably won't be rewatching it anytime soon. But I love That's the second time I did that. I love Searching for Sugar Man. I think it's a fantastic documentary, amazing story, and I love the music in it. I think the music is just fantastic. I've been listening to those albums for the last 3 weeks since I've seen it. So if you haven't seen Searching for Sugar Man, I really think it's probably going to win Best Documentary at the Oscars. Do so check it out. It's very, very good. Obviously it's in my top. It's number 14, so... Alright, so the next one is Zero Dark 30. I reviewed Zero Dark 30, and I said it was going to be my top 10. After thinking about it, I think my top 10 is just too solid, and it just didn't find its way in there. But I did love this. I did love Zero Dark 30, and the only honestly, I think if it had that rewatchability for me, this would have been my number 1 movie of the year. I think it's just a brilliantly made, acted, directed, just a brilliant picture, but I just am not latched to it like I am to some of these other stories. It has that documentary feel, and it just has that, information type feel rather than like a normal narrative like The Hurt Locker, something like that, or like Argo. And I'm not clinging to it like I am the other films, and I just don't see myself rewatching that movie maybe 1 or 2 times throughout probably the rest of my life. So I think that's just the thing that keeps it away from being in my top 10 and being like 2 or 3. It's a brilliantly made movie, but that's just my biggest thing about it. Next one is number 12, WreckIt Ralph. I said this in a review that I wrote, and when I go to see an animated film, I go to kind of like, for an hour and a half of my life, I want to be put back into my childhood. And WreckIt Ralph did that for me. I just honestly felt like I zoomed back into the 90s, and I was a little kid, and, I was like, I don't know, I just got all that nostalgia, and it was just so well made and so well created with its jokes and all the little things about the video games, and it took me back to my childhood. But on top of that, it's not just for the nostalgia factor. I think it actually has a very well-written leading character. Ralph is just a tragic. He's like a tragic character, and there's so much heart and soul in his character, and it's so brilliantly played by John C. Reilly. I mean, voice acted. I loved Wreck-It Ralph. I think it's just a fantastic animated film. I wish it was. I hope it gets the best picture, best animated film. I think it's terrific. I think it goes head to head with Toy Story as it's always compared to Toy Story, the trilogy of Toy Story films, and I think it goes head to head with those films. I think it's just, they're so similar, and I think that they're right there next to each other. They're just so full of nostalgia and so full of well-written jokes and heart and soul, and they're just great movies. And I think it's just one of the best, probably the best animated film I've seen since Toy Story 3. I don't know how I'd rank it in an animated film. Maybe I'll do that as another video. But I really, really did love Wreck-It Ralph. When I first seen it, I was like, man, I was just blown away by how good it was, because I wasn't expecting that. Number 11. The most anticipated movie I think every single fan of movies has had for the last 4 years, The Dark Knight Rises. This is like, I said in my Avengers, when I talked about the Avengers, I said that's how blockbuster filmmaking should be. That's true, but Chris Nolan brings blockbuster filmmaking to a whole new level. Well, I think this was the weaker, not the weaker, I mean, it's still a strong movie, but I don't, it's my least favorite of the trilogy. I really did like I thought The Dark Knight Rises was great. I think the thing that I like about it most is that it's not really about Batman. It's about Bruce Wayne, and it's not this huge comic book story. I mean, it's obviously a comic book, but it's not like this huge superhero movie, because Batman's really not in it. It's kind of just about this terrorist taking over a city. Sure, it's got its plot holes. I can't argue that. Every movie's got giant plot holes, and this one has them. If you guys didn't like it for that reason, I don't care. I still enjoyed it. When I first seen it, I seen all three of them together at midnight, going into midnight. But when I first seen it, I was a little underwhelmed. I would probably have given it a 7, but my rewatch jumped it up to a 9, and I really did love this movie. I was on the verge of making my top 10, but again, the top 10 list was just so set. I couldn't really take anything out. I did really like. I loved The Dark Knight Rises. I think it's another great film by Christopher Nolan, and obviously it's made its money, and everyone's seen it. So if you guys have The Dark Knight Rises in your top 10 or in your top 15 or whatever, leave a comment. But yeah, that concludes part 3 of this video. The next ones will be, I'll probably have them, I don't know, by Tuesday or something. The rest of my top 10, it's going to be split in 2. So leave a comment. If you guys have any of these or any of these movies in yours, leave a comment. Tell me where they rank or whatever, something like that. If you haven't seen them, definitely see them. I think they're all amazing movies. Check all those movies out, and tell me what you thought of each of them. Check out my other videos, and have a good one, guys. Take care.